started. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My apologies for the glitchy video. I am Clarissa Rodriguez, Chair of the New York State Workers' Compensation Board. Due to the coronavirus pandemic and state guidelines regarding social distancing, today's board meeting is being conducted remotely from various locations throughout New York State. This meeting is also being webcast live for members of the public. Now, board members, please be reminded that there's a slight pause in the audio transmission, so please state your full name after you speak. Now, I have the honor of calling the 993rd meeting of the board to order. Madam Secretary, will you please call attendance?
Yes, Vice Chair Foster.
Here.
Board Member Peprocki.
Here.
Board Member Higgins.
Here.
Board Member Lobin.
Here.
Board Member Williams. He's absent. Board Member Hall.
Here.
Board Member Ostley.
Here.
Board Member Crane.
Here.
Board Member Stasko.
Here.
Board Member Taveras.
Here.
Board Member Cajanelli.
Here.
Delan.
Here.
Chair, Board Member Williams is absent today.
Okay. May I have a motion to accept Board Member Williams' absence today?
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Peprocki, and I would move to excuse the absence of Board Member Williams.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Stasko. I second the motion.
Okay. Thank you. Board Member Stasko, is there any opposition? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Didn't even think of that.
I am also a yes. Any opposition?
So weird.
Okay, hearing none, that motion is passed and the absence of Board Member Williams is approved. Thank you, board members. Agenda item 1, approval of the October 2020 meeting minutes. Now you have all received a copy of the minutes for your review. Are there any questions or need for discussion? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the October 20th, 2020 board meeting minutes?
This is Board Member Peprocki, and I would move to accept the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Stasko, and I second that motion.
Thank you very much. Is there any opposition? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that motion is passed. Thank you. Agenda item 2, Office of General Counsel's Departmental Report. General Counsel David Wertheim will now present the statistical and informational report for October. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, and guests. Here is a statistical report for October 2020 with respect to the resolution of issues here at the Workers' Comp Board. First, in the adjudication division, there were 18,995 hearings held, 12,800 cases were resolved fully at the hearing, and 495 reserved decisions were issued. There were also 1,729 pre-hearing conferences held. In terms of waiver agreements finalized as approved, there were 2,090, 2,004 through the hearing process, and 86 through the desk process. In terms of applications for administrative review, there were 859 received, 910 processed, leaving an inventory at end of October of 2,365, with 95% processed within a 6-month period from the time of the application. Full board review, there were 148 applications received, 139 processed, leaving a case inventory end of October of 188. That concludes the statistical and informational report. Of course, I would take any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. Are there any questions or need for discussion? Okay, hearing none, may I have a motion to accept the statistical and informational report of the Office of General Counsel?
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Peprocki. I move to accept the report of General Counsel.
Thank you, Board Member Peprocki. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Stasko, and I second that motion.
Thank you, Board Member Stasko. Is there any opposition? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, I am also a yes. All opposed? Okay, no opposition. That motion is passed. Thank you. Agenda item 3, license applications. Elizabeth Lott, Special Counsel, will now present any licensing applications.
Morning, Chair Rodriguez, Vice Chair, board members, and guests. You have before you the recommendations from the assigned board panel regarding the licensing applications listed in Part 3 of today's agenda. Section 24A, nothing to consider. Section 53B, nothing to consider. Section 53D, Service Claims Solutions LLC, 3-year renewal. North American Risk Services, Inc., 3-year renewal. TriStar Risk Enterprise Management Ltd, 3-year renewal. Veritas Claim Administrators 2 LLC, hold to December. Sedgwick Claims Management Services, Inc., 3-year renewal. I present these recommendations to the board for your consideration.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth Lott. Now, may I have a motion to accept the recommendations of the panels as presented and as identified in agenda item 3?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Peprocki, and I move to accept the recommendations.
Thank you, Board Member Peprocki. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Stasko, and I second the motion.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 I'm also a yes. All opposed? Okay, that motion is passed. Thank you, board members. Agenda item 4, legal appeals. General Counsel David Wertheim will now present the recommendations concerning decisions by the Appellate Division.
Thank you again, Chair. From the time of the October board meeting until today, the Appellate Division 3rd Department has issued 15 decisions with respect to workers' compensation claims. They're set forth at items 4A through O of your agenda. Of those 15 decisions, 10 were affirmances, 2 were modifications, 3 were reversals of the board decision. It is the recommendation of General Counsel that all of the decisions of the court be adopted as the decisions of the board.
Okay, thank you, David. May I have a motion to accept the recommendations of the Office of General Counsel?
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Peprocki. I move to accept the recommendations of General Counsel.
Thank you, Board Member Peprocki. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Stasko, and I second that motion.
Thank you, Board Member Stasko. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I am also a yes. All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that motion is passed. Thank you. Agenda item 5, mandatory full board review. We start with 5A, Ulmer Plumbing and Heating, case number G0513389. Is there a motion with respect to 5A on the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Delan, and I move that the opinion of the dissent be adopted as the opinion of the board.
Thank you, Board Member Delan. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Lauren Loban, and I second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any recusals from this case? Okay, hearing none. Is there any opposition to the motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Frederick Orsley. There is opposition to the motion.
Thank you, Board Member Orsley. In light of the opposition, I call upon the Secretary for a roll call vote.
Board Member Ostley.
No.
Board Member Caginelli.
No.
Board Member Crane.
Yes.
Board Member Delan.
Board Member Delan. Yes.
Board Member Higgins.
Yes.
Board Member Hall.
Yes.
Board Member Loban.
Yes.
Board Member Peprocki.
No.
Board Member Stasko.
Yes.
Board Member Taveras.
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
That motion is carried 9-3.
Thank you. 5B, Green Pack Mill LLC, case number G1741659. Is there a motion with respect to 5B on the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Pamela Caginelli, and I move that the board panel decision be adopted with the LWEC reduced.
Thank you, Board Member Caginelli. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Crane. I second the motion.
Thank you, Board Member Crane. Are there any recusals from this matter? Okay, hearing none. Is there any opposition to the motion? Hearing no opposition, I call upon the Secretary for a roll call vote.
Board Member Ostley.
Yes.
Board Member Caginelli.
Yes.
Board Member Crane.
Yes.
Board Member Delan.
Board Member Delan. Yes.
Board Member Higgins.
Yes.
Board Member Hall.
Yes.
Board Member Loban.
Yes.
Board Member Peprocki.
Yes.
Board Member Stasko.
Yes.
Board Member Taveras.
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
That motion is passed unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. 5C, Heritage Air Systems, Inc., case number G2331497. Is there a motion with respect to 5C on the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Crane. I move that the majority opinion be adopted as the opinion of the full board.
Thank you, Board Member Crane. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Mark Higgins. I second that motion.
Thank you, Board Member Higgins. Are there any recusals? Is there any opposition to the motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, there is opposition to this motion, and this is Board Member Caginelli.
Thank you, Board Member Caginelli. In light of the opposition, I call upon the Secretary for a roll call vote.
Board Member Ostley.
No.
Board Member Caginelli.
No.
Board Member Crane.
Yes.
Board Member Delan. Board Member Higgins.
Yes.
Board Member Hall,
Yes.
Board Member Loban,
Yes.
Board Member Peprocki,
No.
Board Member Stasko,
Yes.
Board Member Taveras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
That motion is carried 9-3.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. Agenda item 6, discretionary full board review. I now turn this portion of the agenda over to Vice Chair Foster.
So it's
We have 5D.
5D. Yeah.
My
5D.
apologies. Skipped over a case. My apologies. 5D, adults and children with learning. Case number G2049032. Is there a motion with respect to 5D on the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Delan, and I move that the opinion of the dissent be adopted as the opinion of the full board.
Thank you, Board Member Delan. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is Board Member Mark Higgins, and I second that motion.
Thank you, Board Member Higgins. Are there any recusals? Is there any opposition to the motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Orsley. There is opposition to the motion.
Thank you, Board Member Orsley. In light of the opposition, I call upon the Secretary for a roll call vote.
Board Member Ostley,
No.
Board Member Caginelli,
No.
Board Member Crane,
Yes.
Board Member Delan,
Board Member Delan.
Yes.
Board Member Higgins,
Yes.
Board Member Hall,
No.
Board Member Loban,
Yes.
Board Member Peprocki,
No.
Board Member Stasko,
No.
Board Member Taveras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster,
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
That motion is carried 7-5.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. Now, agenda item 6, cases for discretionary full board review. I now turn this portion of the agenda over to Vice Chair Foster.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the cases listed in item 6 of your agenda, it's recommended that full board review be granted. Those cases are 6A, matter of Xylem heat transfer, 6B, matter of Winthrop University Hospital, and 6C, matter of New Era Mechanical Services. I move to refer the cases back to the respective panels for further consideration.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Stasko. I second that motion.
Thank you, Board Member Sasko. Are there any recusals? Hearing none, is there any opposition to the motion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 I am also a yes. All opposed? That motion is passed. Thank you. Agenda item 7, is there any other business to discuss? Okay, hearing no other business. Agenda item 8, our guest speakers. Now I'd like to introduce you to today's speakers for the board. First, we will hear from Deputy Director of Regulatory Affairs, Natasha Carbajal Evangelista. I do remind everyone to please mute, with the exception of our speakers, of course.
Thank you.
So, sure. Ms. Carbajal Evangelista is responsible for all aspects of regulatory affairs for the agency, including developing and interpreting policy for the risk management program, overseeing the paid family leave, disability benefits programs, and serving as an advisor to the chair and executive director on policy matters. Additionally, she leads the board's human resources and facilities departments. Now, prior to joining the board, Ms. Carvajal Evangelista served as the governor's assistant secretary for labor and workforce at the office of the governor. As a key member of the New York State's leadership team, she assisted, oversaw, and directed the program and fiscal activities of labor and workforce-related agencies and boards. She has also served as a special counsel for ethics, risk, and compliance to the commissioner for the New York State Department of Labor. Now, before joining the state government, Ms. Carvajal Evangelista was a senior associate at Baker and Hostler LLP, where she was counsel to the trustee in the litigation of Bernard Madoff Investment Securities LLC, and advised on issues of international insolvency and bankruptcy. Now today, Ms. Carvajal Evangelista and several members of her team will be presenting on several aspects of the board's regulatory affairs. Director of Regulatory Affairs and Risk Management, Stephanie Zufali, Director of Return to Work Programs, Juanita Perez-Williams, and Empire State Fellow, Talani Alumade, will highlight key projects, including one that I've had the pleasure of working on closely with them, the Injured Workers Legal Assistance Project. Please join me in welcoming them now. Thank you for being here, Natasha.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, board members and esteemed guests and colleagues. Thank you, Madam Chair, for that introduction. If you would give me a moment, I'm now the presenter. Kim, can we actually make Talani the presenter? She's going to go through our slides. Thank you. I last had the opportunity to address the board about a year ago, and I want to start by acknowledging that we are in very different, unique times, and I sincerely hope that you, your families, and your loved ones are well. I appreciate the opportunity to be before you all today to share a bit about my team and our great work. I asked 3 of my team members to join me today because their work has been exemplary, and I am grateful for their dedication to the board and our mission. For today's agenda, we will provide a brief introduction to the unit, updates on how our team has implemented enhancements to board practices and procedures in the time of COVID-19. And finally, we will provide updates on key projects that our team has been working on. First, a unit introduction. Our unit, I joke that our unit is similar to the check engine light in your car. We're critical to making sure the agency's operations are working well, but you only really hear from us when something is challenged or needs fixing. Our Risk Management and Regulatory Affairs Division is led by Stephanie Zufali, who you will be hearing from in a bit. This unit has your traditional controls as well as key efforts to ensure that our system is working optimally. Integrated Services, which includes our vocational rehab, social work staff, is led by Juanita Perez-Williams, who you will hear from today as well. And our unit also includes the board's coordination of New York State's paid family leave program, the board's human resources, security, and facilities divisions. And I want to note that we have the great benefit of having Talani Alumade, who is the board's Empire State Fellow, with us today and managing the deck. She's been a critical force in driving these projects and efforts to completion, so I wanted to thank her for that and her assistance here today. On March 7th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued an executive order declaring a disaster emergency in the state of New York in response to the threat posed by the COVID-19 outbreak. As a result, the New York State Workers' Compensation Board issued important guidance regarding process and other changes related to the COVID-19 outbreak. These actions were taken to keep both the public and board staff safe and to address some of the challenges to board stakeholders. We also made a number of operational changes, including closing board offices to the public, hosting our full board meetings by video conference, and last but certainly not least, enabling the majority of the staff to work from home. Our teams have been hard at work since the start of the pandemic, ensuring that folks could work remotely in the heights of the crisis and equipping our workplaces to facilitate a safe return to the office. Our facilities and security staff have worked hard to ensure that our workplaces are safe always, and now especially in the light of the pandemic. We have secured our offices with signage that denotes social distancing and spacing requirements, including limiting occupancy in elevators, bathrooms, and break rooms. We have analyzed all desk areas to ensure that either wall partitions are sufficiently high or are in the process of installing plexiglass where partitions are insufficient. We have retrofitted all occupied cubicles in Schenectady and are in the process of installing these in other offices. Where they have not been installed, staff has been moved to new office space so that they are within the same building, so that they are socially distanced from each other. We are distributing PPE, personal protective equipment, including masks, gloves, and personal 2-ounce refillable bottles of hand sanitizer at all offices. Additional hand sanitizer is available in common areas, including for refilling of the personal 2-ounce bottles. Our human resources team has also been hard at work with the implementation of increased telecommuting and helping supervisors and staff to navigate a safe return to work. Since the start of the pandemic, we have had many essential staff reporting to the office. As part of our efforts to ensure that there is spacing, we have been asking bureau leads to provide advance notice where possible of employees reporting into the office. In addition, all staff that is reporting into the office is required to provide a daily health screening before going to work at an office or soon after arrival. Human Resources is overseeing this process and works in conjunction with the staff member and the Department of Health in any cases of concern. Another enhancement that our team has rolled out during the pandemic is the new COVID-19 quarantine leave. Through new paid leave for COVID-19, Governor Cuomo guaranteed workers job protection and pay in the event that they or their minor dependent child are subject to a mandatory or precautionary order of quarantine or isolation due to COVID-19, Depending on the size of their employer, employees may take paid sick or paid family leave and disability benefits when they or their minor child is subject to an order of quarantine. Since the law was signed into place in March, our paid family leave team has stepped up to provide the coordination and outreach needed to make sure New Yorkers were aware of the available benefits. We had to create and implement the routing of new forms for COVID-19 PFL leave. We created resources, including the new paid leave for COVID-19 website, FAQs, guidance for employers, and fact sheets. We created new scripting and continuously update the scripting for the HSCC call center and the routing of calls to ensure that all callers can get a response as soon as possible. We have answered more than 14,000 calls from mid-March and more than 3,000 level 2 questions. And we continue to partner closely with the Department of Financial Services and the Department of Labor to ensure that all stakeholders are informed of their rights and responsibilities. And now we will provide updates on some key projects that our unit has been working on. First, I'll pass the microphone to Stephanie Zufali, who will provide the update on the Risk Management and Regulatory Affairs Division's projects.
Thank you, Natasha. And good morning, everyone. Today, I'll highlight a few of the projects in the Risk Management and Regulatory Affairs Unit. First is the Fraud and Abuse Task Force, which compiles and analyzes data to better understand patterns and trends in the workers' comp industry. With an initial focus on identifying possible fraud and abuse, we also uncover compliance and quality issues. So far this year, we have completed 30 referrals, including some to the Fraud Inspector General, to the Medical Director's Office, to the Office of General Counsel, as well as other regulatory agencies. One of the outcomes of the 2019 IME study was to do more monitoring of both IME entities as well as IME providers. We have regular communications and reporting from IME entities, and we incorporate this data in with our other analysis. Several companies who have failed to respond have been removed from the listing of registered IME entities. The team also helps to coordinate workers' comp activities among New York State agencies. We recently rolled out e-case access to each New York State agency so that they may view the cases specific to their agency and improve administration of those cases. Next slide. Next up is the CMS 1500 initiative. The CMS 1500 initiative started out as a way to encourage treating providers to participate in the workers' compensation system by leveraging their existing billing and medical records, and also reducing some of the administrative burdens associated with workers' comp. For the board, electronic submission of medical bills through a clearinghouse would also reduce the number of paper bills submissions, currently about 350,000 each month. And for the fraud and abuse team, it's a way of collecting more data on medical treatments and providers. This initiative is starting to gain momentum. It is a behind-the-scenes partnership between providers, clearinghouses, payers, and the board. We now have 4 clearinghouses approved, and we expect up to 8 more. And there are over 9,700 providers who have signed up to submit their bills through an approved clearinghouse. The initiative will be mandatory effective in July 2021 for both payers and providers. One of the benefits of this initiative is that we will start to collect the payer acknowledgement date, which is the date that they received the bill from an approved clearinghouse. This date will be integrated into the medical bill dispute process to ensure that the payer objections are timely filed. Finally, we've standardized the payer objection reasons on explanation of benefit forms that are sent from payers to providers using industry standard claims adjustment reason codes, also known as CART codes. These will be the same for all payers, and they will match up to the C8.1B and C8.4 objections. These forms are expected to be released in draft form in early 2021. Next slide. And finally, I'll mention some of the work of our research and data analytics team. This team is a resource to other units to better understand available data that can help manage their work. They are the board's data warehouse experts, and they're responsible for researching and responding to ad hoc requests, as well as preparing statutory reports, including the recent IME study. In 2020, they have received and responded to over 250 data requests. One of the more recent highlights is the creation of claims and hearing dashboards, which graphically depict claim backlogs, productivity statistics, and trends. This has been very helpful during COVID to help us understand some of the impacts of remote work. This team is currently working with other units to roll out additional performance backlogs, dashboards. I'll now turn it over to Juanita to discuss her areas.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to update you on the progress we have made in the Division of Integrated Services and our ongoing efforts in the area of return to work. Over the last several years, our board, vocational rehabilitation counselors, and licensed master social workers have provided individual assistance to injured workers who have difficulty maintaining a quality of life during the recovery period and are in need of personalized support to overcome everyday challenges, including returning to work. To assist these injured workers, our board-certified vocational rehabilitation counselors provide work assessments, labor market attachment assistance, referrals to vocational and employment agencies, and during COVID have offered online support and resources to claimants unable to directly access the Department of Labor and Access VR. In addition, the board licensed master social workers provide financial support by reaching out to creditors, making referrals to social service programs, offering short-term mental health counseling, and during COVID have responded to distressed claimants concerned about their vulnerability to the virus and returning to work. The Division of Integrated Services, which makes up both of these units, is the result of streamlining our processes and procedures utilized by both of these units, coordinating their efforts, and for the first time, collecting key data to better understand the needs of injured workers and overall outcomes. This new tracking system, called the Inquiry Tracking and Resolution System, or ITRS, was launched in November 2019 to overcome identified gaps such as category and case information, staff productivity, and case outcomes. For instance, both units were unable to assess types of referrals, their sources, and resolutions. Without this information, it was really hit or miss on the value of our service and how to grow our resources. I can tell you now that this picture is beginning to change. We now know that most injured workers that come into contact with our units do so without a referral from any source. On their own, they are looking for help, guidance, and where to find resources. We also know that on average, the staff spend over 1 hour assisting these claimants, and since COVID, have experienced an increase in claimant calls. Tracking our efforts has also proved to be impactful with the onset of COVID. Social worker caseloads have nearly doubled, especially in the spring, due to the anxieties experienced by injured workers maneuvering their injury and the ongoing pandemic. Vocational rehab counselors are also finding during COVID that claimants have fewer resources available to them or are experiencing longer delays, and therefore, the Voc rehab counselors have developed a referral process with a more hands-on approach. Although labor market attachment requirements have been suspended, many claimants still need to work, and therefore the vocational rehab staff are utilizing online resources to assist injured workers awaiting vocational rehabilitation. The data from ITRS is also telling us that return to work challenges are the #1 reason injured workers seek out a vocational rehabilitation counselor. As a result, we have moved forward to assist injured workers and employers in the area of return to work by developing a new online return to work site that will launch in the next few weeks on the board website. As you know, early intervention is the key to return to work, and we hope this new site will make the difference. The longer an injured worker is away from work, their chances of returning diminish. After a 6 months absence, only about 50% will return. After 2 years, only 1%. This new site we have developed will provide in-depth information highlighting the significance of a speedy return to work and how a safe, monitored return can support recovery. On the site, the injured worker will be guided through information pertaining to labor market attachment, job training, and learn new terms like reasonable accommodations. The employer portion of the site will advise of the importance of developing a return to work plan, how to create one, and how it benefits business. Moreover, we have created a list of do's and don'ts for the employer to ensure the return to work plan is constructive. And finally, on the return to work page, the carrier can learn more about its role in return to work and how it can facilitate and encourage the employer to bring an injured worker back to work, ensure the worker continues to receive proper medical care and is following medical restrictions. We hope to hear feedback after reviewing the site. Thank you.
Thank you, Juanita. And finally, a quick note about a project that the board just launched recently. This project was born out of a need to fill a gap for injured workers with medical-only claims. These disputes do not involve matters where the injured worker is losing time from work or seeking benefits for periods of lost time, and these cases do not result in a monetary award to the injured worker. Often, these workers note a difficulty in finding representation, as attorney fees are not awarded in these specified cases. So we developed the Injured Worker Legal Assistance Project as a partnership between the board and nonprofit legal organizations to assist injured workers in obtaining free legal representation for medical-only claims. The project, now launched, is housed within the Office of the Advocate for Injured Workers and is now currently partnered with a few organizations, including New York State's Attorney Emeritus Program, which is a partnership between the Office of Court Administration and Fordham Law School, the Legal Project in Albany, and the Workers' Justice Center, which has offices across the state, but primarily in White Plains. We are continuing to discuss partnership with other organizations that provide attorneys with pro bono opportunities. And I would be remiss if I did not thank Elizabeth Lott and Joe Calvaconte for their incredible work on this effort. Finally, a quick thank you for your time, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today and sharing your important work with the board and with the public. That concludes our meeting today. May I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Board Member Crane, move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Matt. Oh, and second was from?
Frida Foster.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Foster. Is there any opposition to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 I am also a yes. That motion is passed. Meeting adjourned. Please have a safe and happy Thanksgiving holiday, everyone. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.